We're here in episode 9, and today we're talking to Nightsin, and we talk about transgender. So yeah, feel free to introduce yourself.
Yeah, like you said, I'm Nightsin, or the long name Nightsincosplay, or you can also just call me Gavin. I'm 23 years old and I'm living in Germany. And yeah, I'm here because I'm a trans man, and we are going to talk a bit about transitioning and yeah.
Great. So, I mean, I think the first question you probably always would get. I mean, I assume it's always the first question, but just something. When did you realize that you want to change? Like, when did you realize you're in the wrong body?
It's kind of hard to pinpoint. I already knew it when I was 3.
Oh, that's really early.
Yeah. I already told like my mom when I was 3, I'm a boy and I don't want to do the typical girl stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's kind of hard because I'm not that old, but back in the time when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
it was still not a thing to be trans or all that stuff. It wasn't that open. It was slowly beginning to be open. And yeah, there really wasn't possibilities to talk about the things and figure it out. So a long time I didn't really know what was exactly going on, because like, yeah, I feel like a boy, but no one else seems to have the same issue like I have, and you're kind of feeling, I don't know, silly. And so it took me a long time to actually figure out what's going on, just because of the lack of information. And yeah, exactly finding the name for it was, I think, around when I was 15, 16. So it took a long time to actually know what's wrong. And yeah,
it was like 8 years ago, roughly. Then.
yeah.
Because I'm kind of asking myself when I really like I always knew transgender was a thing, but that's like kind of connected to the profession I'm in.
Yeah.
So, but I kind of wonder when it like was more of a public knowledge that it's a thing, and I think like the mid of the 2010s seems kind of right.
Yeah, definitely. Since internet was kind of booming too.
Yeah,
around
absolutely.
that time, and is the English word forums too? I don't know.
Forums.
Yeah, okay, great.
That works.
And you actually had the possibility to connect with people outside of your town. So that was definitely helping.
Especially for when you grow up in a small town in Germany, like there's not too many people to talk to, and not too many people that might share the same things, the same opinions, or same experiences.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you were like 15, 16, you said you realized what it was. Did you immediately start taking steps into?
No. I had a really, really bad relationship with my stepfather, and that kind of holds me back to like make the thing public. I talked to my closest friends, and we kind of did it in privacy when we are it's just us. And I mean, like, my name might give away I'm also cosplaying, so that was a
really?
that was a you might think it could be real. That was a great way to like use it to live like it without saying it, because like in the cosplay scene, it's kind of a thing to just use the pronouns of the character you're cosplaying instead of assuming a gender, because you know you might just get it wrong. So people tend to just use the pronouns of the character. So that was a possibility to get people to say he, him without telling them, please use these pronouns, and that was really, really nice way. But yeah, actually starting to like search for a therapist and start with testosterone and all of that started with 18. So I moved out with 18, and after that I started to search for someone who goes that way with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that about the cosplay scene. That's that's the thing, that you would go by the pronouns of the character.
I mean, it wasn't like that many years ago, but it kind of established itself. Is that the right word? I think so.
So did you go to like cosplay conventions or? Yeah.
Exactly. I started cosplaying with like I think 13, and yeah, as soon as I started to cosplay male characters, it kind of developed itself with people calling me the male pronouns, and that, funnily enough, helped too to identify that I'm trans, because it kind of was the first time that people used he, him for me, and it just felt right, and I know at that point, yeah, that's it, and so cosplaying still has a very big part in my life, just because I was able to find myself thanks to it.
That definitely sounds like cosplaying did a lot of very positive things for you. I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear it. So you said you looked for a therapist. To my knowledge, it is that you need to have like at least 1 year of therapy before you can actually change your gender, right?
It's not that easy.
Okay.
You kind of have to go to a therapist for 1 year, but it's not like a set rule. It can be more, it can be less.
Okay.
That's depending on the case. The most important thing is that you go through. Oh God, I should have looked up that word in English first. But you kind of have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
In the right. Oh God,
In the eyes of the therapist.
No, you have to wait. Let me look up that word. Yeah, you have to establish your real gender role in the everyday life for a year. That's the breaking point. And if you're going to a therapist and the therapist sees that you are stable and you're already living X amount of months as the role you're, or the gender you're feeling, it's yours, then they can cut the time shorter. So, for example, I had the possibility to become or to get testosterone, I think after 9 months therapy, just because I was already outed in my everyday life at school and at work and all of that.
Yeah.
So we were able to reduce the time, but yeah, typically it's a year. It's really depending on the therapist and all of that stuff.
So because I talked about that with a previous guest, do you think it's a good rule that you need to visit a psychologist or a therapist before being able to I always want to say transgress, but it's the wrong word. Transition.
Transition. Yeah, absolutely. I would never ever say that someone should go this way without help. It's not about proving to someone that you're really trans. It's not about the therapist should make you not trans anymore. It's about helping you with the really hard steps. So when I went to my therapist, we were not talking about, well, do you really feel like a man? Are you sure about that? We were talking about how's your depression? How are you dealing with everyday life? How are you dealing with misgendering?
Yeah.
How can we reduce your pain?
Mm.
And that's really, really important. And I think you should never stop making that a rule, because some people might be like, oh yeah, I'm trans and I won't deny that. And I want to start with T right away, so I don't have, like, for example, the long wait for getting a deeper voice.
Yeah.
And then they kind of break down because you're going to have a hard time mentally just because you're going through puberty again.
Yeah.
And that's something you shouldn't underestimate. So I think therapy is really, really important and shouldn't.
So what I'm
Shouldn't be
hearing is
denied.
that you also had a very good therapist to work with.
Yeah, gladly.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I'm really glad to be able to go to her and that I found her, and she's amazing. Kudos to her.
Great. So what would you say was like the most, like the hardest steps to that part, like to until you basically were finally able to transition? What were the hardest steps towards that point?
The hardest step for me personally was the waiting time.
Yeah.
Because you're not able to do anything. You just have to wait, and you can't progress. And that's really hard for me because I want to do stuff. And if someone's telling me, yeah, but you have to wait half a year and you can't do anything about that, that feels really shitty. Especially when I started with all the stuff like changing my name and things like that.
Yeah.
COVID was starting, so the waiting times increased even more, and that was horrific.
I can imagine.
To get a letter saying, yeah, well, your case is not important enough for the law, so you have to wait 3 more months. And you're sitting there, okay, cool. I'm a die now. So that's a really, really hard thing. But other than that, the pre-tea time was really hard for me because, like, there was not really a possibility to, like, express to others without saying that you are male.
Yeah.
Because, like, there are so many girls out there wearing t-shirts and shorts. There's no way for me to say, dress away. People are like, ah, yeah, that's a man, especially if you have had a really high voice, and it was kind of crippling.
I can see that, absolutely.
But yeah, it was really, really helpful to get tea and the voice drop, the beard, and after that, it's just waiting.
How long did it take till you had the beard you have now?
The beard I have now took like a year.
Okay.
But it took, like, I think 3 months to be able to at least wear a little bit of beard without looking silly.
Fair.
But that's really dependent on the person and on the genes. So I know people who are on tea for 3-4 years now and don't have a beard, and I know people who get like a full-grown beard in 5 months. So that's really dependent on the person.
That makes sense. How often do you have to take tea?
Every 3 months.
Okay.
It's a syringe. And yeah, it also depends a bit on the person. Some people need it faster, some people need it less, depending on how high your testosterone is naturally.
Yeah.
But 3 months is the average number. And there's also a way to use gel, but you have to take it every day, and that's kind of crippling.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, yeah.
I couldn't remember doing something every day. That's a bit much.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. Also, you have to carry it everywhere with
Yeah.
you, because like if you're at a friend and then you're like, oh yeah, let's make a sleepover, you can't do that if you don't have your tea with you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, nah, I take the syringe.
Definitely. I would do the same.
Yeah.
Was there something where you would have hoped for more support?
Yeah. For filling out the, God, how is it called?
The forums?
Yeah, the forms. Because I kind of struggle with stuff like that, and it's really hard sometimes to get the information and what exactly they want from you, because like everyone works with the things differently. Every state is different. Every I don't know the word. Wait. Every health insurance is differently, and that's kind of crippling when you're like, yeah, well, which stuff do you need? And you call them, and they're like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel that. But that's everything in Germany. Like literally, the tax office sends you a letter with like, please fill out this form. Then you call them and ask what's going on with this form. They're like, I don't know. Ask the support. Yeah, great.
Yeah. That's German things.
And indeed, is a very German thing to happen.
But besides from that, I think it's kind of a good system. It's not great, but it's good. So, yeah. I think that's the hardest part from doing without help. The other things kind of come natural.
Yeah.
Maybe searching for a therapist in the first place could be something you need some help, because like it's hard to find a therapist in the first place.
Absolutely.
But you need to find someone who specifies themselves on this topic, and that's even harder.
I can imagine. So did like the whole medical stuff, did it get covered by the insurance?
Yeah, it all gets covered, because the everyday pain is on a high scale, and yeah, they have to pay for nearly everything.
That's great.
Yeah, it really is.
It probably won't buy you no new clothes, but all the medical stuff. Like
a damn shame.
The important stuff.
No, I think the only things I have to pay myself is like the little fee for the syringe, the $10 you have to pay, but
that's
I
affordable.
mean, that's €40 a year. I can afford that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And well, the money to get to the places for the surgeries and stuff, because like I live in northern Germany, and the best clinic for the bottom surgeries is like in Munich.
Oh yeah.
But like, yeah, it's whatever.
It's a bit of a trip, but maybe that feels more like, I don't know, you're doing something very special if you have to like drive the train for like 12 hours until you're there.
Hooray!
Making a bit more of an adventure. Yeah. I had a good question and I forgot it.
Oh no.
Unfortunate.
You will get it eventually.
It'll come back, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I knew a person that did also like transition. I don't know why transgress is in my brain so hard. It doesn't make any sense. So I knew a person that also transitioned, and they used to, like, whenever they played a video game, they always played the character of their like preferred gender. Is that something that you did as well, or?
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of comes natural.
Yeah.
Because like, even when I didn't have the name for it, I still felt like a male.
Yeah.
And when, like, for example, Pokemon was asking you, what gender are you? You were like, yeah, I'm male. And it kind of comes natural. and it's also a good way to like get into the mindset out of the real world.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of the same thing like cosplaying was for me. The same deal in video games. You just click the box for male, and they are referring to you as male, and it just feels good.
Perfect.
Or female, and the other way around.
Yeah, sure.
Of course.
So how did you deal with misgendering, and like how does it still happen?
It doesn't happen anymore.
I would have been very surprised, honestly.
But it, of course, it did happen, and it's kind of dependent on the situation. If it's like a stranger on the street, I don't give a shit. It's like, yeah, whatever, just move on, and maybe one day it doesn't happen anymore. But like if it's in like family environment or work or stuff like that, I tend to talk to the person, say them, hey, it's he, him. Just try to remember that and use the correct term in the future.
Yeah.
And I had insanely luck with that.
Really?
So I had like, I think 1 or 2 instances where I had people who didn't really, what's the word, accept it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are definitely people out there who are dealing with more tragic stuff. So I really was lucky with that.
So in general, that didn't prove to be a big issue for you, if I hear that correctly.
Not for me. Yeah.
Well, that's good too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm grateful for that.
Have you made transphobic experiences?
I mean, on the internet from time to time, but
yeah,
I don't really let that get to me
too
much, because, well, it's just strangers. They don't mean anything to my life, so I don't have to think about that. But yeah.
Okay. So IRL, not much.
No,
or not at all.
More or less, not at all, I guess. I had like one instance at school back then, where a teacher was like, she didn't like me, and so I think she made a point to misgender me all the time, but like the whole class kind of bashed on her for that, thankfully. So I wasn't alone, and that really helped to have people stand up for you.
Yeah.
But other than that, I had really luck.
I'm glad to hear it. Is there people that you like lost contact with over transitioning?
Yeah, definitely. There are some people who were like not really acceptant, or said some stuff that I didn't agree on, and I was like, yeah, maybe you're not worth my time.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just life, right?
So it was basically your decision there to say,
yeah.
I don't wanna have contact here anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Like there was, for example, one guy who was like, yeah, I won't consider you a real man until you have a dick. And I was like, all right then, goodbye, mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was never someone who was really close to me, so
I'm glad to hear that.
It didn't bother me too bad. Yeah. I also had insanely luck with my family. Like it was actually kind of funny when I came out to my mom.
Yeah.
I was like, it was a Friday before a convention, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna drive to the convention, get some good energy from my friends, and then on Monday or on Sunday evening, I'm gonna tell my mom. And my mom was sitting on the couch before I went, and she was like, yeah, well, by the way, when's your surgery? So that was insanely funny. But yeah, my family is also really, really supporting, and I'm super glad for that.
That's great. Oftentimes parents know more. It's kind of wild.
Yeah. I mean, I never kept it really a secret.
Yeah, fair.
Telling my mom with 3 years old I'm a man or a boy.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I had like someone in the more distant family come out as homosexual lately, and everyone was like, "No shit, Sherlock, we knew."
Yeah, I totally see that.
I don't know. I guess like being kind of indifferent about it, being like, yeah, we kind of knew that already, makes it. I don't know if it's like easier then, or if it's like it feels less special, and that's a good thing, or is it a bad thing? I don't know how I would judge that.
Well,
Like,
I think it's a good thing
Mhm.
because like it kind of shows that the people really were paying attention to you.
Yeah.
But bleh. I can't talk anymore. I also know people who are like, yeah, that kind of makes it not special anymore, and I'm like, yeah, does it have to be special though?
Truly.
But yeah.
I think the other like in quotation mark issues with it would be, yeah, they already formed that opinion of because of stereotypes.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So there's a
That's
slight
kind of
issue with
problematic,
that, but at the same time they were also right.
yeah, I get that. That's a valid point, but I mean,
Like
is it really that bad?
it really depends on the perspective. Because like if you
Definitely.
see it from a psychological perspective, everyone needs to have stereotypes, otherwise they would be constantly overwhelmed with everything that happens in the world. Like we
Definitely.
cannot like look at everything as like a unique thing. If we don't have stereotypes, we just like we wouldn't be able to cross the street without taking like 35 minutes to evaluate all of our surroundings.
Yeah,
And that's why we have stereotypes. So I guess like the secret lies in being open to have them cracked up.
definitely.
Why should it feel special? We should normalize it so that should be nothing special. I would agree with that because like after all, it's I don't know, it's just human things.
Yeah, definitely.
What was the most unexpected thing that happened after transitioning?
The most unexpected thing.
Yeah.
Oh boy. uh, I really have to think about that one. I I don't really know if there was something insanely unexpected.
Mhm.
One thing that comes to my mind, I don't know if that's really accounting to that, but I'm gonna tell it anyway.
Yeah, do.
I was in a therapy group
Yeah.
with I think we were 5 trans people,
Yeah.
and one of them was like, I came into the room the first time, and I was like, "Girl, what you're doing here?"
Mhm.
Because like she didn't look trans at all to me,
Uh-huh.
and that was kind of insane and something I didn't expect when I went to the group, because I thought like, yeah, we are all kind of at the same point, and she was on the same point. She didn't had any hormones yet or something like that, but she was so damn authentic.
Yeah.
That was insane to me. I don't know if you meant something like that,
That
but
works,
that
definitely.
just came to my mind.
So, like the looks didn't really give it away in that case.
Yeah, definitely. And also her voice, it was like, damn girl, you're already doing so amazing.
Hmm.
And then you're sitting there like, hello.
Is it like was it like mostly or like did you do voice training or did you
Yeah,
just did the
yeah.
T let the T do the thing?
No. I already did some voice training
Yeah.
because like my voice was really disgustingly high.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I kind of learned to speak through my belly.
Mhm.
So I dropped my voice significantly. Learned that in theater,
Mhm.
but yeah, it didn't do the trick very well, because like if you're already having a high voice, it's really hard to drop it so low that it's not sounding like you're trying to do Batman things.
I can see that.
But testosterone did the trick then, yeah, definitely.
Does it, like, I don't know if you can compare that at all, because I assume there's like some time between now and the first time taking tea. Does it feel different to speak?
Kind of, yes, because I don't pressure myself into the deeper voice anymore.
No, not like from a psychological perspective,
Oh,
more
okay.
from a
Okay,
like
okay.
I don't know, vibration kind of perspective.
No, it doesn't feel different. The only thing that happened is that I'm more willing to talk because I don't hate my voice anymore.
That's fair, yeah.
But it doesn't feel differently in my throat or something like that.
Okay, fair. I could have imagined it could be like that, because I don't know. I had a situation, I know it's not the same thing, but still, I had a situation where I was like lying on the floor, and it was like a wooden floor, and the whole floor vibrated while I was talking, and I found that very hilarious. I was also high, that helped. But in general, it was like super interesting to me that the whole floor would vibrate, and so I thought maybe if you have like a higher voice, it would vibrate different, and you would feel that in your body maybe. But I don't know. It's a bit of a brain fart. I can see that.
Oh, it's so good. Sadly not. It's not that interesting.
Okay. What would you say were the hardest steps after taking tea?
Waiting for the voice crack.
Mhm.
Waiting is like my nemesis. So I was staring at the mirror every day and were waiting for some hairs and recorded my voice and were like, okay, I still can't hear a difference. When is it coming? Also, the same thing with the period, because it took around like 5 or 6 months for me to get rid of that. And yeah, it was every month a struggle to wait if it finally stopped or if it will start all over again. That was insanely hard. Also, the thought about when it finally stopped, if it will come back, because like, I don't know if you know, but as long as you're not getting rid of all the stuff, it can always come back even after like 5 or 10 years of taking testosterone.
Okay.
It still can come back. So there was always the thought about what if you need it this month again?
Yeah.
And that was horrific.
I can imagine.
Definitely. So like getting the top surgery and the
Womb?
hysterectomia, I think you pronounce it in English, was like the biggest weight taken off from my shoulders.
Yeah.
Because like you're always looking at the chest from people, and if you don't have like boobs anymore, it's kind of helpful.
Definitely, yeah.
And also not having to worry about something like a period anymore was such a good feeling.
I can imagine. I think you already answered it, but I'm gonna just ask it anyways. Question from chat. Did you hate your voice because of being a woman girl at that time, or just in general? Because I think a lot of people hate their own voice.
Just because of the high voice and sounding like a woman.
Yeah.
Not because it is my voice. Like, I'm cringing too if I hear my voice now, because everyone does. But like, I'm cringing in a good way.
Okay.
So like, yeah, that's just kind of my voice, and it sounds awkward because I hear it differently all the time, but it's my voice.
Yeah.
But back then it was like, God, I don't want to talk, because I will die inside if I say one word. So it definitely was differently.
I can imagine. There's something you would like to tell people that, I don't know, maybe struggle with the decision if they want to transition or not?
Go to a therapist, talk with them, figure out what's best for you.
Yeah.
and just start. I wasted so much time with the thought, what if it's just a phase, like
Yeah.
you getting said all the time, and it cost me so much time. I could be so much further right now if I would have just started. So just start, and if you're seeing while on the way it's not your way, you can always stop.
Yeah.
There's no shame. No one is pushing you to do everything. That's also a very important thing. You don't have to do all the surgeries if you don't feel comfortable with that.
Yeah.
You don't have to do surgeries at all if you don't feel comfortable with that. You don't have to take hormones if you don't feel comfortable with that. It's your way, it's your body. You just need to do what you want to do and in your own pace. But if you're never going to start, you will never find out how it feels to go the way, and you will never find the position you're comfortable in.
Yeah.
So just start.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
You half answered that already too, but were there times where you like were unsure if it's the right decision?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, who's not doubting himself?
Fair.
But like, especially, that's kind of the bad thing about the cosplay community, but especially in the cosplay community, you have like so many 13, 14-year-old people who are like struggling with their identity, because what the fuck is identity anyway, man?
Yeah.
And you're hearing about people are like, yeah, I'm trans, you can call me he him now, and then next week it's like, yeah, no, I'm not trans, please say she her. And then the next week it's he him again, and it's really confusing. And yeah, you kind of feel like, yeah, what if I start and say, please say he, him, and then next week I found out it's not my way, and then I'm going back again. It's really a struggle, and that's the thing that, one of the things that hold me back so long, because I wasn't sure if, I don't know, I'm just pretending. So that's definitely a struggle.
I can imagine, like, especially if you like see others switch it quite often, that makes you second guess yourself even more.
Yeah, definitely. Because I it's kind of mean, but I always kind of shitted about people like that.
Okay.
And I didn't want to become that person myself. So I was really doubting myself and doing long nights of thinking, and is it really like that, and talking to people who know me really, really well. And yeah, I waited way too long. But I'm glad I started eventually, and where I am now. So, like I said, biggest advice: start. If it's not your thing, stop. It's totally fine.
And like, it also might just be a good idea to get into cosplay then, because that's how you can like basically test it without going the full way first.
Absolutely. Cosplay or theater in general is perfect for that.
Yeah.
Because like it's not unusual in theater to play a character from the other gender.
Yeah.
I did that as a kid, and that was kind of one of the first moments of that too, that eventually got me into cosplaying. So, and also cosplay is cool, man.
Absolutely.
Give it a try.
I sadly don't have any creativity in that sort of arts, but it's a cool thing to do, definitely. Okay, is there anything you want to say, or any questions you have?
Maybe I should have thought about that more beforehand. But I don't think so.
All
right now. I don't know. Are there any more
any questions in chat left? Otherwise, yeah, please tell everyone how they can keep up with you and what you do in the internet.
Yeah, I'm streaming on Twitch. You can find me with Nightsincosplay. And I guess I also have a YouTube channel, but I'm not really active on that. And of course, Instagram. You can find all my cosplay stuff there. It's Nightsincosplay too. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Actually, that brings me to another question.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the name Nightsin?
It's kind of a funny story.
Cool. I love funny stories.
So, okay, let's go. So, when I first ever made an account on the internet,
Yeah.
I really struggled with a name because, man, you have to find one name the first time in your life. It's really hard. And so I kind of went for something I like. And back in the day, cringy, I know, I listened to Nightcore.
Okay, fair.
And my favorite character was Zoro from One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
So I just called myself Nightcore Zoro.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I kind of didn't like the name anymore, but I didn't want to go too far away from it. And since I'm a night owl, I was like, yeah, might as well keep the night.
Yeah.
And then I thought about a possible name. Kind of wanted to put cosplay in it because that's just what I do.
Makes sense.
And yeah, and found a funny double name because I don't know if you noticed, but it's Nightsincosplay, but also Nightsincosplay. And I really like that.
But it's cool.
So I went with that, and I'm happy with it. But yeah.
That's cool. I didn't notice, but it's actually a clever thing. I like it.
Big braining here.
Yeah, absolutely. I tend to small brain names. I don't know if I ever told it, but like my name when I was like 11 years old, I found like the idea of de-evolution pretty cool. Like that mankind is slowly de-evolutioning from where it was before. So I named myself De-Evolution, and no one said that, and it, like Devo stuck. And then some Rocket League kid stole my name, and now it's Devos.
Oh.
That's the story. All right, thank you so much for being here. Though. Yeah, absolutely. It's a nice story, I would say.
Yeah. Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. And yeah, I'll see you soonish. And yeah, thank everyone for listening, and have a good one.